Europe's war fatigue is no longer a whisper. It is a headline today. 3 years into Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the West is tired, the public is restless, and the politicians are hedging on. And the question is no longer how to win, it's how to end it. The support for Ukraine is slipping, the military age is slowing, and the European unity is cracking. I'm Baraka, I'm going to try to break it down all today. Now in 2023, 38% of Europeans wanted Ukraine to regain all its territory. By October, that number dropped to 34%. Meanwhile, nearly 30% say the war should end even if Ukraine loses land to Russia. Just a quick pause, guys. I need your help. We need your help because this machine have tried everything. They've deplatformed us once. They've shadow banned us, as you can see from the views. Blacklisted us, and the channel remains demonetized. You want to know why? Because we report on something that they don't want you to know. But guess what? We're still here. We're still standing, broadcasting raw, unfiltered truth right through the technocrat machine that they want you to live in. They want your system. They want everybody to live in this machine, so then they can surveil and control and see what you're saying, see what you're not saying. But we resist that. But I have to be honest with you. Yeah, we are running a little bit thin. And we need your help to keep this channel alive. Because the bills, they can't pay themselves, as we already know it. The system, the server, the little crew that we got, the little studio that we have right now, it's all powered by you. All the donation that we get. It keeps this alive. This keeps the crew alive. And yes, I get it. They want to silence us. They want to shut down the show. Because, yeah, it's the last firewall between you and the psychological warfare that they call news. Because we tell the truth. We don't control the news. We give it to you raw and you make your own decision with it. But here's the good news though. Because there's many of us than them. Because we got a lot of freedom-loving warriors here listening to us like you. So, I'm asking you, every listener who can chip in a few quid a month or once, not only gonna make us survive, but expand the team and expand the mission. So I'm asking you to keep us on air, keep the mission alive, and keep this voice on chain. Not just my voice, many other people who are asking for help too. So if you're able to, if you can, go to the link in the description, the first link in the description, just leave something, leave a donation. It could be 50p, it could be £50, 500, it could be anything. We appreciate it. And I want you to know this is not charity. This is a resistance. We're not here to beg. We're here to fight. As you already been seeing us fight. But with your help, we win. And we always win. Always. Let's get back into the video. Yeah, that's a lot of changes right there. The support for Ukraine's continued fight has started to decline. The change is small, but direction is clear. People are tired. In the United States, 43% still support Ukraine's fight in Europe. The fatigue is growing. More than more than people in United States. The reasons, yeah, then they are not really hard to find. Well, here's a couple that we could find to ourselves. First one is rising energy cost, inflation, stagnant wages, and military spending over social services. Germany, Europe economic engine, has been hit the hardest. The pre-war model, the cheap Russian energy, the high exports from Russia, that is gone. With the election around the corner, politicians are watching the polls and adjusting their tone. Some leaders are quietly shifting from Ukraine must win to Ukraine must survive. The fear is super simple. The fear is about a frozen conflict. A war that drags on. The public that tunes out. Of course, they need their public support to stay in power, so they're going to have to change their ways. The Western support has been essential to Ukraine, but it's not been consistent. We can all agree. Ukraine asked for long-range missiles. Europe always hesitates. Ukraine asked for fighter jet. Europe always delays. Of course, defense firm won't ramp up production without long-term guarantees. And Europe hasn't given them the green lights. Europe is not a monolith. Eastern European like Poland, the Baltic remain hawkish. They see Russia as an existential threat. The Western European like France, Germany, Italy is more cautious. They fear escalation, they fear economic fallout. Hungary is even worse. They defer the EU concessions. Slovakia, even worse. The government asked questions. They questioned the continuance of aid. So they don't even want to give them any aid. And of course, the media is not helping. The media have shaped the perception. And as we already know as humans, that perception shape reality and perception shape the policy. In 2022, the media labeled Zelensky as a hero. In 2024, it was a question mark. And today, the media is asking questions. Questions like, is Ukraine even winning? Is the aid even working? And is the war even winnable? The narrative is shifting from triumph to fatigue. And Russia, of course, they are tuning in, they're watching the TV too. Putin believes time is on his side. And the longer Europe hesitate, the stronger the position will become for him. And of course, I can't forget about this. There is talks of the frozen Russian assets to be used to fund Ukraine. Of course, the UK and the US, they support this, but other EU countries don't. Even using the interest of those assets is also controversial now, because they fear that this might escalate. And let's talk about India. Yes, they're playing a part as well. They're silenced, they don't want you to know, but they are also playing a part. New Delhi has not picked a side. It calls for diplomacy. It buys Russian oil and it sends humanitarian aid to Ukraine. India's position is pragmatic, strategic and silence. While Europe debates fatigue, India is playing along and watching this long game play out. Now, Europe's war fatigue is real, it's political, it's economic, and it's dangerous. Ukraine still fights, but Europe is questioning the cost. The West must decide, will it support Ukraine to victory or to stalemate? Because in war, fatigue is not just a feeling, it is a strategy. I'm Baraka and I hope I explained everything to you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. This is the Baraka Show. I hope you're liking the new way where we give you all the facts. No more ranting. Thank you so much. Hand to the head salute. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. You've been silenced for very long, and every time you try to resist, they put you in jail.
For my children.
They control your mind for so long to the point where you let them decide what your kids should learn, what gender they will be. And now you've let them to come for the whole nation, destroying what Britain once stood up for. They use this media machine not to report the facts to you, but to tell you what to think and what you should do.
Always be careful.
They're hiding the facts behind the noise and they're recruiting pedophiles to tell you how to behave. And these politicians you meant to protect you, they're out there smashing your head on the ground. And no jail time for them. This road we've been on has been very dark for a very long time, and it's time to shine a light on the truth and advocate for justice. We the people make the nation, and if we don't stand up and advocate for justice, then we certainly won't make this nation great again. So we have to create a place for that, a place that can contribute to a more informed society. And that place is Next Frontier Media.